but you are not. Bring it down, bring it back forever, bring it down on the ground, safe and sound. Bring it back to never, bring it down on the ground.
Hey.
No more mistakes.
Hello, Tiffany. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. It is a odd weekend, which we will get to in a moment. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm full of mixed emotions today. First of all, boy, the Vikings-Lions game, that was a lot more exciting than it needed to be.
I didn't even pay attention. So tell me what happened.
Well, I mean, it looked like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We had it pretty much sewn up, and then what? Of course, we let Detroit in the door. Detroit's 0-4. We're 1-3. Almost blow it at the end. Detroit takes the lead by 1 point, and we were able to get it back and actually kick a field goal and win this time. But yeah.
Well, congratulations to you.
We can't close the front door. This is a bad. And there's so much talent on the team. I don't know what's going on. And then everything with last night.
Yeah.
This morning, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to the silliness in a moment, but you and I did want to talk about the unfortunate mass shooting that happened just up the street from your house over in St. Paul last night / early this morning at a place that you and I have both been to.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah, and so just it's so hard to fathom what it must have been like, just terrifying to be there during the shooting. And unfortunately, we ended up with 14 people who they know are still injured or in the hospital. And unfortunately, this young woman, a very young woman who had nothing to do with the situation, just got caught into the crossfire. So, our condolences and so sorry for the loss of her family, Markeisha Wiley. It has got to be even more painful. To go, it's not random, but to go, it absolutely was not there's no fault. There's no fault here. And so that's just completely innocent victim. So that's got to be incredibly sad. And you were saying that you didn't hear the gunshots, but you're like, what is going on? Like, even for your neighborhood, it seemed like an amazing amount of activity when this happened.
I've actually, over the years living down here, I've gotten good at identifying the different types of sirens, like, oh, that's a cop, that's an ambulance, that's a fire truck. They were all going. And we had been watching TV, went to go lay down right around midnight. And I'm like, damn, that's a lot. I'm like, okay. And then it just kept going. And then it kept going. And it kept going. And I was like, I made several comments to Brian. I'm like, this is really weird. And part of me, I have a police scanner. Part of me wanted to pull out the police scanner, but also I was like, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Right.
And then I wake up and it's this. I mean, and we were even talking about going out last night, maybe going wandering around bar hopping.
Right.
I don't necessarily always drink in that particular bar because they just don't happen to have my kind of wine that I like. But I walk past it all the time.
And I do want to also commend the community members who were there. It sounds like they really rallied to try as best as they could to provide additional safety and emergency services until first responders could be on the scene. But I mean, when you're reading through the stories, and a good friend of yours and mine, our friend Buemo, was in the area and actually had posted a video to his Instagram page. And Buemo is such an amazing human being. And it really just does choke you up when you see it and you see what he posted and how it impacted him, who was just in the area at the time and heard all of this and saw
he said in his video, if I didn't misunderstand, I thought he said in the video he was just about to go over there, and then he had friends in the area that were also in that. He thought they could be in that bar. He wasn't sure, and trying to make sure they're okay. And
he followed up with such a wonderful post about, unfortunately, Miss Wiley, who passed on and who was was a victim of this. And he said that he'd seen her and that she seemed like such a wonderful person. And so it's just, it's one of those things that I'm sure it'll take a great deal of effort to untangle, and that there's going to be a big impact for the community, for ancillary people that were near there. So, even though you and I always talk about, we lean into silliness quite often on this one, and I'm not saying we won't get to the silly, but I do think that it is, this is our community, and we are impacted by this, and just sad that this is another thing that we all have to figure out. How do we collectively come together and deal with this trauma? And it's so sad that so many people are going to be impacted by this. So,
well, and I mean, you're talking about, a place that was, shuttered for most of the pandemic. People are just starting to come back to downtown St. Paul. XL Energy is just starting to put on concerts and really, and the bars around it that rely on that. Truck Park being one of them, Eagle Street, all that stuff. That's all right there. And I mean, are people going to want to come and party in downtown St. Paul now for a while? I mean, I live here. I've always regarded it as safe. Yeah, you get your occasional character who, on the street, but that's anywhere. I've never really felt unsafe. And now I'm like,
one of the articles I read actually spoke to someone who lives above this bar / restaurant.
Yep, the Oxbow. Yep.
Yeah, and he was saying that it had not, been as you just said, there'd be the occasional loud argument, but not something that he ever was concerned about. And now it's okay. Am I really evaluating what does my neighborhood look like? What does my home feel like after something like this happens? And it could have gone the floor. It could have gone
through the floor of his apartment. You don't know. I mean, in the article they're saying, and I think it was, wasn't it Pioneer Press or whatever, but there's bullet holes all over the wall. I mean, you think about and thank you all of the Good Samaritans and law enforcement, everybody that showed up there, because you think about hundreds of victims. I mean, as far as, witnesses, over a dozen victims. You've got to get statements. You've got to secure that area. You've got to keep people, you've got to save the people that you can. I mean, just the amount of just sheer force you need to get that kind of an investigation put together. And now this poor bar is not going to be open for ever.
And it does sound like, as you mentioned, the Good Samaritans, that, again, there were a lot of people that were doing their best to try and provide that crucial first aid right at the time. And that's, such an amazing gift that they are providing for these people and doing their best to support, because it's in that situation. I'm sure you're going, well, what do I do? Do I run? Do I help? What do I do? And so thank goodness they were able to safely try and support all of the victims during the shooting last evening. So if you're just catching up and you didn't see it during the news today, just look at the headlines of your local paper here. Yeah. So I'm sure.
And 3 people have been arrested. And they don't really know the way that the police chief for St. Paul put it. It's random. We think it was people caught in the crossfire that got hit, but these 3 individuals, they seem to think that they knew each other. There was a reason for
that part. Seemed intentional. The mayhem that it caused.
They were trying to hit each other, and they hit a bunch of people. As a consequence.
So,
but that's because, you know what? It's not like a video game. It's not, that's not what. But
Right.
what I love about St. Paul is that all the stories that everybody came together and they were all rushing in from everybody was flooding out of all the other bars, running in and trying to help, and until, law enforcement obviously could get there and secure the scene, but
And one of the things that impacted me when I was looking through the posts, and especially, I sent a message out to our friend Buema, and he's an amazing human being, a very talented, very funny comedian as well. And somebody put a joke on his post of this,
ugh,
and he
come
said, and he
on.
wrote back,
Come
and
on.
he said, yeah, I'm a comedian fan, but it's too soon for that. And that just showcased how impacted everybody was in that. And again, Buema is an amazing human. Um, so I'm not surprised that he said that. But come on, people, get it together. Get it together. So
Well, and it's one of those things where people too, especially, and I mean, maybe I'm getting off track a bit, but St. Paul versus Minneapolis, blah, blah, blah. I've lived in St. Paul on this side of town most of my life. There is that illusion that it's much more dangerous in Minneapolis. The gun violence has been through the roof for the last couple of years in St. Paul.
and
This
I'm
is
glad
obviously the largest example of it, but there's been shootings like crazy.
because
On
I
the,
live just outside of Minneapolis, and you're right. Everybody seems to think that I am in just inherently more danger
yeah,
than what you would be over there. And it's like, it's neighborhood by neighborhood, and it's also what we don't. Yeah, we're not Compton, we're not Chicago, but that doesn't mean that there aren't still things that need to be addressed in our communities and
right.
things that have been allowed to, the way that we created some of these scenarios in these communities, there's other ways that we can police within them, is what I'm
Mhm,
saying, kind of thing.
mhm.
There's other ways that the community needs to be involved in trying to create a safe space for everyone. And hopefully this helps and something positive comes out of this. And it doesn't just turn into another version of a different lockdown that doesn't actually go to the how do we make the community safer,
Yeah.
for everyone, for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've already said, our hearts go out, and that doesn't mean much.
Hmm.
But yeah, as long as we can try to find some kind of something.
Right.
I don't know what that is. There's definitely not a silver lining. Let's put it that
No,
way.
no, no. But hopefully it doesn't exacerbate the problem that already exists, is
Yeah.
what we can hope for. All right. Do you want to do something a little closer to my house that's a little more on the incredibly dumb side? We'll do.
Yes. Let's do that.
Here's a really stupid palate cleanser. So I live just on the west side of Minneapolis, near the whole Robbinsdale Victory Memorial Parkway area. And so Tiffany saw this story before I did, and it is about Victory Memorial Parkway in general and Victory Memorial Park, which she knows I hang out in often.
Mhm.
It is my primary Pokemon hunting ground. It is the primary place
So
where
if you ever want to see Shannon in her natural habitat, it might be her hunting Pokemon in this particular park.
correct, because this is the most prolific place for me to go and do Pokemon, other than when people used to go to the Mall of America. So, it's usually a good time for me to be outside. There have been many a day where you've called me and said, "What are you doing?" And I'm going for a walk, which I am, because it's more efficient when you walk when you're catching Pokemon. So the thing is about Victory Memorial Parkway is that it has a really long walking slash bike trail. Like that was part of the reason why I think they actually took some of the Pokestops out, is because there are people that were crossing into the bike trail and not paying
Oh,
attention
sure.
and being just dumb. And that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But that has, for as long as I've lived here, and I moved here in 96, there always was a very wide parkway, walkway, and a line up the middle of it that said walk on this side, bikes on that side. And bikers, I agree with them. Like they put it there for a reason. We as pedestrians need to stay out of the way, because some of those bikes are going really quick and you're a problem. So it really is important that we have this line. And it has been fine, but then we got to the point where it was getting faded, over time. So it looks like the city council was like, or the park board was like, hey, go over there and paint a new line on it.
Yeah.
For some reason, that went incredibly wrong. And here's how we found out. So,
It
yeah,
just makes me laugh.
you should laugh, because you and I were discussing this, Tiffany. You were trying to say, well, what kind of oops could that happen? Because
Yeah.
that's not a oops. One little bump, that's a oops. That's a hey, I wasn't looking. this is so wobbly. Look, there's a bunch of Instagram pictures that are that. Look, it's not even close to, look at that. It was straight for like 6 feet right here, and then it went wrong again. And the fact that, it's just,
Was it bring your kid to work day? That was another possible reason I thought of. You know what I mean? There's always the episode of the sitcom where like the kid brings, or someone brings their kid to work and then hilarity ensues.
the only other thing I can think is maybe the vehicle that they were on had a wobbly tire. And so it's like,
That could be.
that I will give them. Other than that, it just seems like impossible to explain why somebody would keep going that distance and not go, never mind, turn off the paint.
Yeah.
Let's go figure out what's wrong with the vehicle. Like, did they not look behind them to see how that went? Because there's got to be a point where they go, well, we can't correct this. Clearly something's wrong with the nozzle. Clearly something is going on. I don't even know. So
maybe they were tickling each other. Ooh, stop it. I'm trying to draw a line.
Because it really does get to the what the hell type thing. Like, it's so wobbly for so long that there's like, how do we even explain this?
Okay. Maybe, you know how like if you get pulled over and a police officer thinks you've had too much alcohol, they make you walk a line. We can walk that line. Can we use that line? That will be very much mirror probably.
I kind of appreciate it if the line moved with you, but I kind of feel like it's more difficult to like to pay that much attention than to just pretend to walk straight. So I don't know. But I went over there today just to see if they had repaired it yet.
Yeah.
What they've done is it looks like, I don't know what they did, but it's less pronounced as that. So I don't know if they just painted or put a seal coat over it so you can see it less, and they're going to come in with a new person and put the thing back there, but you can't see it nearly as bad as it was.
They had to tape it off, you know what I mean? And just like, yeah, exactly. Like you're taping lines on your walls.
Yeah. So they went over there and they had somebody with a roller go and cover it up just so that they didn't keep getting clowned on social media. Because they're blaming it on a poor vendor, a poor quality vendor.
Sure.
But I also think it's interesting that the quality control from the commissioner from the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board just hadn't gone over there yet. Like the fact that there wasn't anybody that, I guess you didn't presume that it's going to get messed up. Yeah. So nobody went to go, hey, somebody go over there and see how that line looks that we told them to paint.
Right.
But they had to wait until people started tweeting them. And whenever you find out something about Twitter, that is the worst way, I think, to ever find out that you messed something up, is that people start tweeting you. That's just, that's
never. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think that that's something you'd have to check on. But then, if you've ever asked a teenager to do something pretty straightforward, it's like, hey, can you bring out the garbage? Well, yeah, I brought it outside. I didn't put it in the can.
I have
a line. You didn't tell me to be a straight line.
I yesterday handed him his pile of folded clean underwear and said, go put this in the drawer. Mm-hmm. And it didn't even make it to the drawer. It was just piled up on his futon that you gave us. I'm like, there's 2 more steps to the drawer. So the fact that the Minneapolis Park Board is hiring a teenager that can't take 2 more steps, that's pretty whack. What was the process? What was it? No, don't they have to have vendors like submit? So what
we keep hearing there's all these jobs that are open that they can't fill.
They're like, who's got white paint? This guy. Okay, and we're all set. So, all right, fine. Or it was somebody that was trying to double task, and they're probably one of my Pokemon friends, and they were just trying to like catch them all while they were driving and nothing.
Right.
Just spinning those Pokeballs. So
it's over there. Nope. It's over here. Nope.
So I think that'll be fixed. They're already in the process of fixing it because they're like, we can't just leave this. Because you don't want it to end up on the national news because it's this close. It's bad than Twitter. And so it's already worth going, well, then in Robbinsdale, Minneapolis, and Minnesota, all this stuff. That's the last thing we need. Because part of it is that this is the part of the reason why we always get most livable cities, best parks in the nation, all of that stuff. So this is like a particular slight, I think, on Minneapolis, because they're like, gosh darn it, we get awards for our parks. And now look what we did. I'm just glad that we get to worry about that. That is the kind of problem that I'm okay having. Is that
Yes.
they're like, gotta go repaint the stripe in the park. Why?
That's a problem that's manageable, hopefully.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
was janky. Go unjanky it. I'm good with that. So, all right, let's move on to this one. Tiffany, real quick. First of all, you and our friend Diane, shout out to Diane Sieber. You guys are much more horror based than I am, and you're always going, "Hey, here's this." Usually, not you, her. Here's this horrific style place. Let's go on a vacation there. And I'm like, why am I even in this conversation? You know, I'm gonna say. I feel like she tags me in just so I can say, "Nope." She knows I'm not gonna go.
I
I'm
know
not
she
gonna
does.
go. So the
I
fact
don't
that
know why she keeps asking, but she does. Shannon's
I
right.
feel
She asks all the time. I think she just wants you to feel included.
that's nice of her. I this is how much I normally stay away from haunted places. I don't even want y'all to send me a haunted postcard on your haunted vacation because now you're just sending it into my house. So no, I want you to come back and then go, all right, I'm glad you're alive and you survived and you're home and safe and alive, but I'm still not going. But I found one that I almost am on board with going.
Really?
Yes, yes. So what it is in Ireland. There is a place called the Hell Caves, and the Hell Caves are a historical site that, according to these historians, they were a place where pagan costumed Celtic demons and stuff inhabited this particular cave. And so that's what they're saying is that these particular caves,
Mhm.
called the Onagat caves, meaning cave of the cats, that this particular region of Ireland is where we first started hearing the stories of hell. Here's a I'll share.
Yep,
I'll
it's a
share
portal,
this. Yeah,
they believe,
right. And so
essentially.
the historical part of this is what made me go, I might be interested in going to visit because I do want to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
And so this is some of the art that's in the historical site that these scientists and historians are looking at. I do find this interesting. So I feel like I would be comfortable because look what it looks like outside. Like,
Mhm.
just this part, kind of thing, the ancient royal capital that spawned our favorite Night of the Dead. Okay, that sounds interesting to me. Maybe because there's not a movie about it yet. Like there's no movie telling me that I can't go to this part of Ireland. I think maybe that's part of the reason why I'm okay going. And I know I can tap out pretty quick and go someplace else in Ireland that isn't the gate to hell. So I think I'm okay with that. So I'm all right. So let's see. It says that during Samhain in this particular region, it is a hive of activity focused on its elevated temple, which is surrounded by burial grounds of the Conchata elite. So it does sound. This sounds fascinating to me. I'm kind of okay with going to see this.
Well, I wanna go to Ireland anyway. That's where
Yeah.
that's both sides of my family are from Ireland, and everybody in my family pretty much has been except for me, so I would like to go and investigate that anyway, um, but yeah, before the, uh, what do you call it, the Crusades and all that,
Yep.
Ireland was pagan, and the reason why they believed on Samhain, and which is, right before, well, All Hallows Eve or All Saints Day or whatever.
Right. Hmm.
All Saints Day is the next day, which they kind of incorporated with the Christianity. But yeah, you dress up like a demon because you wanted to look like the demon, so the demons didn't take you. And if you
Right.
wanted to be safe, you had to have a bonfire. The demons, float over you. So
Right.
it's really no big whoop to
Mhm.
avoid demons if you know what you're doing.
Right. If you know what you're doing. But it
Yeah,
seems to be a lost art. And I
right,
feel like people don't try and avoid demons. They try and run around and follow them with a camera. And I'm not down with that. But I
right.
am, yeah. The historical context of this, I'm a little bit more because I like those kind of things.
And
So,
there was a little light animal sacrifice, but it's really not, in vain because really any meal in Ireland somewhere starts with some kind of an animal for
and you
sacrifice.
know
Like, I
what?
mean,
I kind of came
as long as
back.
you don't waste the meat.
I mean, I grew up in a Baptist Costal upbringing anyway, so we read a lot of Old Testament, and so same thing.
Right.
There was a lot of animal sacrificing going on.
Sure.
So as long as it's animals and it's not ridiculous,
People?
then
Yeah.
right? I'm not even close to people, kind of thing. Like just an occasional chicken. Like I can't even, my grandma used to, kill chickens with her bare hands, just to eat. I'm like, I'm sure that came from a ritual of animal sacrifice back in the day. So that I can kind of justify. Any of our vegan friends out there and of our vegetarian friends out there, I'm sure you disagree. My on the chicken ranch that I grew up on with my grandma ringing a chicken, I could kind of go, well, that's not that far from what I'm sure they did back then. And it was actually, I can imagine her, like when she would tell me stories, it was a matter of why you would pray over meals and do these things, because you were showing respect to the fact that you had it. So that part, again, I'm all right with. Do I really want to go deeper into these caves? And like, I feel like you and Diane could go into them. And then I
I
would
feel
watch.
like you would not actually go into
I
the
wouldn't go.
actual cave
I'd
part.
go to the region.
Yeah.
I would
You
look
go to
at
the gift shop.
right. And I'd buy the picture book.
Yep.
And then I would walk and I'd go, okay, yeah.
I'll be
But
out here. I'll hold your bags. Good luck. I'll be
that's
catching.
right.
I'll be catching Irish Pokemon.
Exactly, because I'm sure that
What
there's
if there were demon Pokemons and you accidentally caught one and was in your phone?
that is not the way it's gonna work. I
You
don't
don't
think
know.
it
You
could
don't
have.
know how they work.
Do you want me to go with you or not? Don't make it preemptively worse. I just talked myself into maybe I'll go to the country that started Halloween.
Yeah.
But now you're even talking me out of that. Like maybe the whole country is
Yeah.
haunted. But we'll see. We got time to think on it because I'm not planning on any. You have a passport, right?
I do.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Diane does too. So we can maybe figure that out for 2020, tail end of 2022.
For my birthday next year. Let's not say what year. Let's not say what year.
I thought we were going to Vegas.
We could go to Vegas via Ireland or vice
Okay.
versa.
All right. Okay, we'll work that out. It's your birthday, so
It is.
that's what you want to do. That's what we do. All right, you read this too late. All right, our next story. This was all about you. I don't even care if we talk about it, but I thought you should care about this. But I found it kind of late. So Dish Network, they had a contest, and I guess they do this often. And Tiffany, what the contest is that they hire to watch 13 Stephen King movies by Halloween.
Yeah.
And you get $1,300 if you do it. And so I thought you would be totally down with this because there's a couple of things about it. One, I know you like all these movies anyway. Two, you get to watch them and then you report back. Three, in order to be selected, and this is what I thought you'd really like, you have to write a little essay on why they should select you. And I know that you have a history of doing that and to get involved in things. So I'm like, this is exactly for you. But by the time I saw it, you would have had like 6 hours to get it done. Like it was due last Friday or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is totally like, we need to watch for this next year because you would be.
I'm going to set an alarm in my phone to look for this
start
content
looking
at the beginning of October. Yeah.
Right.
Because I would do that.
Yeah. Everything about this, I'm all like, that's my bestie. Like, you want to watch these movies anyway. You would do a great job reporting back on what you thought. They also want you to do things like check your heart rate every once in a while. See all these, like, see how you're feeling and when and give a report. So I thought you would be really, really good at that. And I was like, I would be interested in watching your little reports about which one you thought was more scary, or is it the jump scare ones that or was it this? And then you can share these things on social media. So I think, and you could talk back because they go, you could do a social media or a vlog every time you jump or something like that. So we could even work it into the live stream by next year. So yeah, put a ping so we remember to look for that next year. So I think that's good.
We've got a bit for next year.
Yes. All right. Put it down if you got to remember to do it. Like, instead of like 2 days afterwards going, remember that thing a year ago we said we were going to remember to do? We forgot.
Yeah, we forgot again.
So you're right. You got to put a reminder.
But I was really busy. I was painting lines in a park. And
yes. And planning to go to the cave that sparks the concept of hell. So yeah, you do have a busy 2022 already. I do. Let's see what we could do. So, all right, we're going to do this last one. The last thing that we have today, and you and my friend Barsky are the two that care most about this next story. So you sent me this story. I appreciated it for a whole different reason probably than you did, but I do appreciate it. So do you want to introduce this video and then I'll pull it up?
Sure. I mean, there's not a lot to tell other than this is the coolest marching band of all time. So there was a college football game yesterday and it was Ohio. I don't have it up in front of me at the moment.
Versus Maryland.
Yes, versus Maryland.
Mhm.
And, I love marching bands anyway. I think they're so creative.
I do
And
too. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm down for it. I'm here for marching bands, and
Mhm.
especially when they've got cool choreography and all this
Right.
stuff. But they generally kind of stick to the classics, and there's sometimes there's some creativity in it. But I remember like when I was in choir and in school and stuff like that, like they don't usually let you do the fun stuff, the stuff you want. Well,
Right.
so this particular band, apparently, I'm thinking that the conductor is maybe a big Geddy Lee fan, but they were inspired to perform a tribute to the band Rush with a marching band. And
Yeah.
so they do little snippets of some of their biggest hits from their 2112 album, which had like Tom Sawyer, a lot of their big hits that most people know. But it's pretty, but the band actually spells out the word Rush, and then they make like a fake guitar player and make them
And then there's
swing.
and Barsky, I agree with him. His favorite part was there was a part where they lined up like cymbals, and then when the cymbal hits, they tilt the cymbal like somebody hit it. So we'll play a little piece of it. I appreciated it from the perspective of someone who also really is a marching band enthusiast, and I appreciate the amount of time and effort it gets into put these things together. I
Right.
also really appreciate the live event announcer on this one. I'm going to make sure that the sound's all the way up, and let's see if you can hear him as he is explaining what they will be doing during this performance.
Halftime in Ohio Stadium with the pride of the Buckeyes. In 1968, this Toronto Campbell trio, known individually as Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart, and collectively as Rush, formed one of classic rock era's most indispensable bands. But that eclectic sound ceased nearly 2 years ago with the death of legendary drummer Peart. Today, we pay tribute to this famous band as we open our show with selections from their breakthrough album, 2112.
From their breakthrough album, 2112.
I think the video's a little bit delayed. I think it's buffering. You don't want to hear me sing that. I know what part of the song is.
I don't recognize any of the songs, and I'm not
There's Rush!
There we go.
Praise the Rush. I love it. Although, interesting story about Neil Peart, the drummer of Rush. He was dating one of those Real Housewives for a while. Oh, there's a guitar. There's guitarist.
Yeah, I turned the music down a little bit.
And they make him. Yup.
Let's turn that down. Turn that down. All right.
That's so cool.
I am impressed as well. I'm impressed as well.
You got to watch it in real time because it did with us doing the streaming. It was buffering a little bit. It goes a little bit quicker, the transitions, but man, the coordination, just the choreography is amazing.
It is amazing.
Let alone if they're playing
agree.
live. That's crazy.
Right. I agree with you. Just watching them do all of that and just walk through all the motions, walk all those things. It's just beautiful to watch. And if you think about the amount of time and effort they put into creating this routine,
Mhm.
it is absolutely magnificent. They sound wonderful,
Mhm.
whether you are a fan of Rush or not.
Yeah.
It is just amazing. Like I just really appreciated how well the music sounded, even if I didn't recognize what the songs were.
Mhm.
I thought they sounded amazing. So we there's a reason why this had 150,000 views already,
Yeah.
even though it just dropped yesterday. So we encourage you to go and check that out. And so Tiffany, there's a couple of things that are coming up this month. I think the big thing that we want to encourage people to do is to join you and I at the 2021 Twin Cities Film Fest. Do you think I'm correct? Is that correct on what we should do? Tell them about. I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Because passes are available. You can go to our website, twincitiesfilmfest.org, see all of the amazing films, including our opening night film that stars Benedict Cumberbatch in The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne, our closing night film, which is Belfast, like all kinds of amazing films that I'm sure you'll see in Oscar contention. Then there's a lot of independent films that are out there. I've actually had a chance to preview a lot of the films that are in our Her series, which are things like, Black Feminist, which is an amazing documentary.
That was the one you were telling me about, and I want to see that.
Yes.
It sounded fascinating.
It's absolutely wonderful. There's a film that I'm also a big fan of called The R Word that talks about some people who've been championing the rights and cause of people who have intellectual disabilities. That is an amazing film that I had a chance to preview as well. And recently, this one I think is just fantastic. There's another documentary that we're showcasing both in person and online called Uprooted. And Uprooted, you're going to love this one as well, Tiffany, because it is a documentary about the history of jazz in America. And so it incorporates this beautiful historical information, but also these beautiful dances. And really, like, you see so many people that we grew up watching, that we're like, oh, wait, I know that dancer. But even for someone like me, who I think does live in that world of what is the history of Blacks in America, no, I not made the connections to my culture and jazz. And it was wonderful. So that's another thing you can see. And so you can get tickets to see us see the film festival in person. You can get online streaming passes only, where you can just go, okay, you can buy each of these individually, or you can give the Twin Cities Film Fest $50 and just screen pretty much anything that you want during the festival, or you can get a hybrid pass. And so for only $150, you get 12 tickets, including 2 of our feature films. You can do and see pretty much 12 in person, plus all of that things you can see online as well. And it's only $150. So, and you're supporting a wonderful organization and supporting filmmakers and actors and storytellers. And so we're just excited to be there. And so come and see us. Tiffany's going to be one of our red carpet hosts. So if you stop by the Showplace Icon Theater, you'll be able to see her out there talking to our filmmakers and getting to know them. And that's full. And you can always just hit either of us up if you just need more information, or go to the website, twincitiesfilmfest.org.
And it's really one of which is crazy, but it's one of the best film fests in the United States. And a lot of people don't realize it. So don't sleep on this. This is one of those really cool things. I mean, we always talk about, oh, we're so good and supportive of the arts and the theaters and all that. Well, who has been struggling the most? Who needs these resources? And really, Twin Cities Film Festival does a really nice job of trying to elevate stories that may not normally get told, that may not normally get the shine. Because, it's a community.
Right. So grab your passes, come and join us. It goes October 21st through the 30th. You can come and see us as twincitiesfilmfest.org. And so, okay, next week, I don't think either of us have any calendar. We're still going to be here, same bat time, same bat channel, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. And do your Vikings play again next week?
Yeah, we play next week, and then the weekend after that is a bye. But then I believe that we're at the beginning of the film.
We're at the film festival, yeah. So,
we're going to play it by ear on those days.
Good, and you'll probably be in a better mood by the time we get to the film fest. That'll be fine.
Well, we beat the Lions. We beat an 0-4 team. It's like that. And the Lions are my second favorite team.
Okay, so either way, you would have been okay.
I would have been okay.
Just to be so dramatic.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, everybody, we appreciate you joining us. If you're watching us in the replay, shout out to everybody that's out there. And we hope you have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Take a little time to see that maybe I'm not worthless.
start to think that maybe I deserve this. When my lucky stars crash to the ground and the hands of fate were it's all about. Heard a voice say you're not alone. When calamity began to compound, the whiskey ran stop pouring down. That voice said I'm not on my own. Oh, it was you. Yeah, it was you. Walk the streets and search for clues, trying to shake the sidewalk blues. Wanna feel like